is the latest map. Oh, there we go. The latest map from the National Hurricane Center. Again, this is the most accurate information that you can follow. So be sure that when you're listening to the media partners and everything, you're going to see a lot of hype happening. So it's really important to make sure that any information that you're listening to or you're hearing is vetted and trusted. So partners like the National Hurricane Center or Pinellas County government really send out kind of information that's factual and data driven for you. So I just wanted to give a quick update on the status of the storm right now. As you can see there, from the looks of it, if you were to draw a straight line, it looks like it's headed straight for the Florida Panhandle. I want you to be really cautious about kind of breathing that sigh of relief or thinking, oh, well, this isn't going to be our storm, because anywhere within that cone, so you see that is almost the whole peninsula of Florida, potentially could be along the track for the system. The models right now have really been all over the place. Some of the models are showing a panhandle, some are showing a stronger turn along the coastline. So really, we're not sure exactly yet where it's still going, but regardless of where it ends up making landfall, the really important piece here is we're going to be along that east side of the storm, which means we're going to see some significant impacts into our area, no matter where the storm ends up making landfall. Just to put it into perspective, the wind fields of this storm are very large and they span 450 miles across. So that's essentially, a large area that are going to see winds, rains, impacts, etc. Just to kind of give you some more data that they're looking at now. Remember, this is a forecast, so this is subject to change as we continue to see the system develop. Rainfall is going to be significant. Really, anywhere from 8 to 12 inches are possible. Rain's going to start as early as Tuesday, and so I'm sure you're all aware of how saturated our grounds are right now. That's going to be a large concern for sort of just low-lying flooding areas, especially with that much significant rainfall. So that's a concern we're monitoring. There's, of course, a tornadic activity risk because we're going to start to see those winds pick up. So we're fairly certain we're going to see some strong, potentially hurricane force winds, really starting as early as Wednesday morning. And then really the biggest hazard for this event, apart from winds and rain, is our big concern about storm surge. And I'm going to try to pull up the map here. So Pinellas County has a really great tool. Give me one second. I can't talk and do it at the same time. A really great tool here. Can you all see this? Well, that's adjusted. Here, it's a know your zone. And so it's hard to tell here because my computer's being slow, but this is the storm surge map that's updated every few years for Pinellas County. Obviously, if you've been here for any time, you know Pinellas County has a very high risk for storm surge flooding. One of the major concerns with just the directional of this storm and the size of this storm and the rapid intensification that we're anticipating is a very large storm surge hazard. So what they're forecasting to happen is that water is going to push up into the Bay Area here, and it's going to have nowhere to go. And so they're really anticipating a lot of flooding through, those areas that you see in red, pushing that water through Safety Harbor and Oldsmar. And of course, we think about our barrier islands. Those also will see some significant surge flooding risk. So I certainly don't want to alarm anybody, but I want you to see the significance of this storm and, really be able to think about what that impacts may mean for not only your facilities and your clients, but your homes as well. Today's the day to start getting those preparations really underway. From what I hear, I think gas lines are already long. I think water is already crazy. The more you can do now to prepare, obviously, I think we're going to see a big last minute scramble. And then just one last final piece kind of a weather update is at this time, at this forecast time, and again, remember this is subject to shift, we're looking for potential tropical storm force winds to start Wednesday around 8 a.m. Those winds are anticipated to last through Thursday at 3 p.m. So that's a 31-hour impact time, which is a long time. So you just want to consider that that means we're going to be under heavy rainfall, heavy winds, storm surge, and flooding for a pretty large significant of time, which means we're going to see some probably major damage once things have cleared up a little bit. Certainly not the report that I love to give, but I do want you to know that here at Emergency Management, we're really taking all the precautions. We're erring more on a side of caution, just because we want to make sure that we have enough time to make all of the preparations that are necessary. So with that, just kind of a couple of extra updates. The citizen information line is open. It'll be open from 8 to 8 today, moving forward. They may extend that time a little bit, but that's a great resource. If you have questions or you're not sure, the folks in there have access to all sorts of resources that can provide answers for you. The Ready Pinellas app, I mentioned that yesterday, also a great just-in-time resource for you. You can look up and see, are you currently even in an evacuation zone? What zone a certain address may be. So that'll give you some more information. What should you bring to a shelter? All kinds of resources right there too. That's a free resource. And then just going through my list. At this time, they've not made an announcement as far as to when shelters, emergency shelters will be opening. They will be opening, so just know that those decisions are coming. We're waiting for our policy group to finish meeting. As you can imagine, there are lots of pieces such as school closures, buses, et cetera, that go into making that final decision. So as soon as those times are released, we'll be sure to push that information out to you guys. And then of course, you'll hear that coming from Pinellas County government pages as well, so that we can get those pieces moving. And then just as a final reminder, the bus system does run free to any of the open shelters. So if you've got folks that have some transportation challenges and need help getting to a shelter, those will be available as well. Don't need to do anything extra, just go to a bus stop and they'll take you to any open shelter. I think there may be some questions in the chat. No, please let everyone know ASAP. Perfect. So I know we held one call where it was just more informational, but what we wanted to do now that we kind of have a better idea of what we're going to be looking at throughout this week is to start gathering some situational awareness from the shelters, from you guys, so that we can just kind of keep up with any unmet needs or issues that may arise. And so what we're going to ask for, and Dominique will pass through with calling on each facility, but we'd like to know, I'm sorry, trash is over there. Yep, sorry about that. We'd like to know if your facility is either planning on sheltering in place or if you're planning to evacuate. For those of you that are planning to evacuate, if there's a specific shelter that you are hoping will be where you're going to evacuate your folks, it'd be great if we could kind of have just I guess a note about that so we can make notation of that. And then also if you plan to evacuate with any of your staff to assist, we'd like to know that. And then we'd also like to know if you have any kind of high level unmet needs at this time. Again, not a guarantee, but if there are resources available, we can either connect you with them or possibly even connect each other to resources. So again, evacuation or staying in place, where you would go, if staff would be coming with you, and then any unmet needs. So with that, I'm going to kind of hand it over to Dominique to kind of go through the list, or however she deems is the appropriate way to do that.
Yeah, hi everyone, this is Dominique Randall. Thanks again for taking time out of your Sunday to meet and make sure we are the clients that we serve are ready and safe and in a good situation. I made a list of all shelter transitional providers that I believe are on this call. Some are not. So for my ease for me, I'm just going to go down that list. And so I'll just do a roll call. I saw Ashley was on with HEP. Ms. Lauer, if you could give an update first.
Sure. So as of right, can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So as of right now, we're planning to shelter in place. We do have some properties that are in evacuation zone A. So if the county recommends that those zones be evacuated, then we would do that. We have hurricane supply kits to send with all of our residents that would have to go to shelter. And we have a staff meeting scheduled tomorrow to kind of go over our plan and decide what exactly we're going to do and in what order. So we feel pretty well prepared to handle it. And then as far as our staff, we follow the Pinellas County school closure. So if the Pinellas County school system closes and doesn't have staff reporting, then we won't either.
And any unmet needs, you said you were feeling in a comfortable spot with that now, correct? At this time?
Yeah, I don't think we have any unmet need. I mean, I'll probably know more once I have the chance to gather my staff tomorrow and get more feedback. But as far as I know, we've got everything that we need kind of stocked up and ready to go.
Great, thank you so much. Next, I'm going to move over to Safe Harbor. Haish.
Hey, I'm here. So as of right now, I haven't gotten any word as to where, if we're evacuating or not. I'm imagining that is going to happen once we know better situation with the storm. If we do evacuate the shelter, then it's up to the discretion of the sheriff whether we send additional staff, community policing deputies. We will have additional down at whatever site we send our residents to. But I don't have any update as of right now. No unmet needs.
And Haish, I did have your plan from early beginning of the season saying that all of yours would be going to the Lealman. That would be your priority shelter, the Lealman location. Is that still correct?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. And I don't believe anyone is on the call from Pinellas Hope. Okay, St. Vincent de Paul. And Clarissa with Salvation Army.
Good morning.
Morning.
Our Holly is on there as well, so she probably will chime in. We are shelter in place as of now. We are opening up if there's high wind and high rain. We'll open up about 30 spaces for others to come in. Non-residents can use our shelter, but we are in evacuation zone. I'm not sure which zone it is, so we would need to evacuate. I will have a meeting Monday with staff to see if we have any unmet needs, but right now we are scheduled to shelter in place unless we are evacuated.
Yeah, just
Great.
to chime in, we are zone A. So if they do evacuate zone A, then we're prepared for that. And we will go to the shelter that they recommend. The last time we just waited to see like which one that they wanted our residents to go to. And that's the one that we will, advise our residents to go to. And at this time, we do not have staff that are committed to go.
Thank you, Holly. I didn't know you were on the call. Appreciate it. Just in case, I know Grace House is closing down or transitioning operations. I just want to make sure. Okay. And I wanted to transition over to Directions for Living, how there are just an update kind of on the outreach and any of the hotel clients, what the plan is there.
Sure. So at this point, we have the families that we have in a hotel. We're going to go over evacuation plans with them Monday if the area that they are in is required to evacuate. I do not believe that any of the hotels that we have where we have clients placed are in mandatory evacuation areas. They are on some of the higher ground in the county. But nonetheless, we'll firm up plans with those clients. And then street outreach would really follow suit of the other emergency operations, right? If we're pulling, law enforcement off the roads and stuff, I would assume that the people that are riding with law enforcement would then not be able to ride. We are all meeting Monday to kind of go over those specific plans as it relates to the outreach team.
Great. Thank you, Heather. Do I have either Brookwood or Alpha House on the call today? And Actually, I know Perk is here, so I'm gonna skip down to Perk. Gilazzo.
Yeah, our big housing programs, the Continental, and we're not in an evacuation zone. We're not in a flood zone. So we'll shelter in place. If we lose power, then we would look at shelter. And I don't remember if it was, I don't have the plan in front of me. I'm actually in California right now. But I'm back tomorrow. So anyway, that's our plan. We've already shared our plans with the VA in terms of the veterans program we have, and that's it for now.
All right, thank you for joining us from California. And Olivia or Carly, someone from the HLA, can you speak on the family unsheltered list or what's being done in response to those residents?
Monica is here, so I think I'll let her talk about our plan, okay?
Okay.
Good morning, everybody. We are going to be having a meeting first thing tomorrow morning with all HLA staff to ensure that we have everything in place for our families. We'll be going over our list that we have to see if anybody is in a place that needs to be evacuated or needs to find an alternative location, and we will work with them to make sure that happens. And I will continue to share information as we have it. I will be sharing this call out to the rest of the community, as well as following our staff meeting tomorrow at 9 a.m. I'll provide an update to the county and all of our municipalities on what we are doing at that time.
Okay. I think I saw Kevin on here. Which Kevin is that? I'm looking for a BOLI update or a Salvation Army Clearwater update.
That would be Kevin from the Salvation Army.
Yes, thank you.
From Clearwater. Our transitional supportive housing program on Druitt Road will not close, will not evacuate, and staff will support our program there. So there's really no alternative, no need for support there. We do leave it up to the families that if they would like to evacuate, they could choose the nearest local shelter. But we've never had a family choose to evacuate to a shelter when they're already in a very secure facility. No unmet needs from the Salvation Army.
Great, thank you. I do have a list of a few more providers, but is there anyone else on the call that operates a shelter or transitional housing that I might have missed? All right, I will follow up with the providers that I know are missing on the call from the call today. Anyone else on the call have any unmet needs or questions or concerns as we kind of move through this? All right, everybody's quiet. I'm going to pass it over to Jessica. I don't know if there's anything else. Right before I give it back to you, Jessica, I do apologize. We have distributed most of those blue flyers that are intended for our street homeless individuals living on the street to have information on shelters in the case of an emergency. I heard that they've been distributed. I do still have a small pile. If anyone needs some of those, please put your name in the chat or send me call me or text me. I do still have some that can be distributed.
Hey Dominique, this is Arrow. Are you able to send the PDF too? Because I can just send that PDF at least to our library and they can print some out there because I get a lot of folks that are street homeless that come in.
Yes. Yes, I can do that. I believe though that the home team was supposed to be delivering some on Friday to at least the Largo main library, but we will get some. I'll get the PDF over to you.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Dominique, if you want to send the PDF to me as well, I can make sure all of our partners get it and have it so we can put it on our socials and other areas as well.
Will do.
Thank you.
Dominique, I'm sorry. I was on mute and I tried to talk and didn't realize it. This is Steve with the Florida Dream Center. During Irma, we were rounding up the homeless and taking them to shelters. Is that the homeless in the Lumen and the 33714 zip code? Are we taking those to the exchange or are we taking them somewhere else?
Yes, anyone can access any shelter. So I would do it based off of their location, and that's going to be the closest one to you.
Okay, and what about pets?
Jessica?
Yeah, so there are 3 pet-friendly shelters, and I don't have the list right in front of me, but we can get you that list. At this time, the list of open shelters has not been sent out yet. So
Okay.
there is a list that says, you know, what shelters are potentially opening. So as soon as that comes out, we'll be sure that the links go out everywhere that show you what shelters are open and then which shelters are pet-friendly.
Okay, so I've also talked to my staff, and we have a pretty large food bank, and we have several pallets of water that we've set back just because of maybe having a hurricane, and we also have other meals that can go out that you don't have to cook if you need them, and so we're prepared. One question, I have a couple staff members that are on barrier islands, and since we can get a better update on Monday morning or Monday afternoon, then I need to know whether to send them somewhere else or tell them to leave. But other than that, we prepare to have some of our staff available to be on call if needed.
Great. Yeah, as soon as, like I said, evacuation orders have not been issued yet. I know barrier islands are sort of on that first tier, so I would anticipate that that would be very likely that will be issued either tonight or starting tomorrow. They'll be sure to
Okay.
let you know when that starts.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's all I had. Thank you.
All right, well, thanks, everyone. I also want to remind you that we will be, Jessica through Monica will be sending out another end of day reminder update email, so just be looking for that. Jessica, is there another next meeting we want to try and give everyone an FYI on now, or Monica?
I don't know. I guess what's the consensus at this point? I felt like a lot of the reports we're sort of meeting tomorrow with our staff. We're waiting for evacuation orders, so there aren't a lot of solid plans in place yet. So maybe we plan for tomorrow, since I think tomorrow they'll have issued some of that information and people's planning may have really started to roll out and look differently. What are the thoughts from the group?
I think that's a great idea, Jessica. We'll have it. We can send everything to get everything set up, of course. So maybe, I don't know, maybe around 1-ish might be a good time. That'll give time for, or maybe 1:30, we can get the 1 o'clock update from the National Weather. Are they doing 11, 1, and 3s, or are they doing 11 and 3 still?
I'm looking at my notes or my calendar. Hold on one second. I'm like
It's
all these
okay.
dates. It's like, where am I supposed to be right now? I think 1 o'clock should work tomorrow. I think 1 o'clock works. Messaging should be out for the day as far as evacuations, etc. And the latest Hurricane Center update will be at 11, so that gives
Okay.
time to kind of get that rolling. So 1
Perfect.
o'clock.
Yeah, we'll send out a Zoom link to everybody in just a few minutes as soon as we get off to get it going.
Perfect. And I think I saw Victoria has her hand up too.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask if y'all have material ready to go for us to share on websites, social media, and emails. If there's anything prepackaged other than the lists that we can share.
Sure, yeah. So I know the PIO team is working on pushing stuff out. So anything you see rolling out of that, feel free to share. They sort of have I guess a thought process of kind of the order of what they're pushing out. So I would follow that is probably the best route.
Thank you.
All right, well, thanks everybody. Take the time today to get your facilities in place, your homes prepared, your family squared away. And tomorrow I think will look a lot different than today, but use the time you have now with the sun still out to start getting ready. So I appreciate all of you, all that you're doing, and all you'll do to help keep all of our folks safe.
And I'll just add really quickly, HLA will be updating all of our social media sites, our website. We'll be sending out another update, as said earlier, later today, and we'll get a Zoom for tomorrow at 1 sent out just momentarily. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.